When I record podcasts, I like to stay hydrated. Who knew talking could be so hard? My favourite drink to have to hand is Lifeline's Hydro OG. It's a tried and tested product for me. It helped me and my team complete a 24-hour podcast, giving us the edge that we needed to get over the finish line. So whether you're at the gym, on a bike ride, or just trying to get over that night before, Lifeline's Hydro OG has got your back. Each serving is stocked with all the healthy ingredients and vitamins you could ask for. There are a great range of flavours, and with each serving at only 18 calories, you really can't go wrong. Here at the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast, we like to support local, independent companies and brands, and Lifelines is a product that I am proud to endorse. Go to lifelines.com. Now that's LYFELINEZ.com to find out more. Now, without further ado, here is today's episode. Hey guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. This is a little preamble before our great interview with Vince, Dovey and Neville Street. But today we are here at an international buffet that I have been invited to. Lots and lots of people here celebrating the international community and getting to know each other. It's really, really amazing. It's raising money for Lincoln Davis. Raising awareness of the international community here. I'm standing in a room right now. I can see the mayor. The mayor's here. There's about 100 people in the room with cuisine from, I can see Poland, I can see Hungary, I can see India, Nigeria, Turkey. There's lots of countries here. I see Cyprus over there as well. So there's lots of cuisine here from all Ukraine, the Ukraine community. So we're going to go find a couple of people to speak to. I won't keep this too long, but it's really good to get a feel for what the vibes are with the international community and sort of how they mingle together. And let's get some stories. These are good icebreaker sessions that could lead on to future podcasts. So let's go and take a walk around and find some people to speak to. Would you like it? Thank you so much for inviting us here.
Quite busy. Would you like to go?
Oh, I love the sound. It's fine. Promise you.
That's fine. So every year we celebrate International Women's Day.
Yes.
So last year we had 14 countries. This year we've got 22. So we've got a mix of Asia, Africa, Europe, and Africa. So that's amazing.
Wow.
We've got also, because we raise money for Lincoln Davis.
I am
cancer champion. So we've got Lincoln Davis, and then we've got West Mercia here to support women against violence, and to think how we can be safe on the road. So we've got also Caribbean, we've got Poland, we've got Bulgaria, different countries. So please have a look around and try.
Thank you so much. I need some interesting people to speak to. So you.
That's Wales.
Wales.
As the Filipinos, there is a man from Kurdish. I'm not sure if he would like to talk about English.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But then we've got Sahab from Persian food. Amazing food. We've got Turkey. We've got so many different countries. Please have a look around and then ask them and speak with them.
Well, thank you so much for doing this. This is so nice. It's an icebreaker for the community to get together and speak to each other.
When we started, I didn't expect that we're growing. So literally we just spoke with my friends. For next year, we might have to find a bigger venue because we're growing. We're
absolutely.
bigger.
Well, next year, I'd love to help out in the planning, like at the beginning.
Please. Yes.
Speak to people who are taking part and help you guys out. And thank you so much again for putting this on.
To be honest, I know we missed some countries. Like Portugal lady, she decided she's going holiday, so she couldn't come. We still got like Indian, Spanish, and Italian. We don't have them here today, so hopefully you can have them next year.
My son is very fussy with food, right? And I'll say, well, if you think about it, pizza's Italian. He's walking around now looking for an Italian table, so trying to buy pizza. But no.
Perfect. This is my friend Gabi. She's Polish. She's singing Polish and Ukrainian and British songs. So amazing help and support for us.
First thing I noticed was the music. I walked in and I was like, that's really lovely, so well done.
No, please have a look. We've got different organisations as well. We've got individuals. So people came from Shropshire, Telford, Wickham. Some came from Wales. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for the invite, and we're going to go have a wander around. I'm going to try and find the mayor. I've just seen her, so we'll get a chat with her.
Yes, we've got today Mayor of Shrewsbury, and then we've got High Sheriff Shropshire, and then we've got also representatives from different, we've got Public Health from Shropshire Council, we've got local councillors, so it is busy.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So today I'm amazed by this, what's going on, and we found members of the community police support here. Would you guys like to introduce yourselves?
I'm PCSO Jackie Baldwin.
PCSO Lynn Burge.
What does this mean for the community, the events like this?
Oh, it's lovely really because it brings the community together, whereas very often when we're walking around the streets we won't see this many people from so many diverse cultures. We'll just see the odd person, but having everybody in the same room is absolutely brilliant.
And having that icebreaker, that moment of hi, this is my name, this is your name, and having that kind of a relationship. Yeah?
Absolutely. I mean, the heart of us is community. That's what we do. We're police community support officers, but to bring all these different people together, I think is fantastic, and I hope in the future that I look at this today, this evening we're here and it looks like it's going to grow, doesn't it? The lady, we were just talking to a lady, she said it started with 12 tables, now we've got over 20 tables full of wonderful food from all over the country, haven't we? From different, ethnic backgrounds. It's just fantastic.
And food is an international icebreaker. That's the thing that people bond over, right?
Yes, definitely. And so, it's brilliant because it's all about sharing, isn't it? Everybody's here and everybody's sharing their different knowledge, their different tastes. And I say, I'm speechless really. I didn't realise it was so big and so good. And I mean, it is. All I can say is a wonderful event, and hopefully it'll keep going.
Brilliant. I'm going to get some interviews, then I'm going to get some food. Have you got any recommendations? Where have you been for food?
What can I say? What can I say? We've walked round the room meeting lots of lovely different people, and the food is just phenomenal. It's fantastic. It really is lovely.
I've got some photos of you guys for press purposes, obviously, because you guys are having such a good time talking and smiling and taking selfies with people. It's nice to see. I really am genuinely warmed by this.
I mean, this is lovely because we don't very often these days get a chance to come to things like this. I mean, this really, it's special for us because most of the time we're dealing with not so nice stuff, we're dealing with not so nice people, and to be able to come and do this. And we've both been in the job for 16 years, and 16 years ago, this is the kind of thing that we used to do all the time. We used to go to community centres and we used to talk to old age pensioners and all sorts of people. These days we don't have time to do it, so to be able to come to something like this, it's really special for us.
Brilliant. Well, thank you for some of that.
I think it's quite a privilege actually to be invited.
Yes.
I think it's something that we should attend every time it happens.
Well, like we said at the beginning, it's just meeting people, isn't it?
And it's highlighting. We've got the Lincoln Davis lady who's been chatting about getting screening for cancer, and that is so important for everybody. So I think that's a wonderful thing, because sometimes we, as women or men, whatever, we tend to forget that we should have screening. So I think that's a vital thing to say, and it's just been lovely. It's just been wonderful.
I've got to say, I'm really digging you guys' positivity. I love it. Thank you so much for chatting to me today.
Lovely to speak to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Cheers. So I've got a difficult task now of going to speak to the mayor. She's eating cake. Now, what's going to happen if I disturb the mayor from her cake? Alex Wagner's just walked in as well, a local MP, so that'll be interesting. Let's go and speak to the mayor. So I've just mentioned on the mic that I'm going to disturb the mayor from her cake, so I don't know the consequences. This is why I walk up gingerly.
Hi Timmy. Nice cake. This very nice cake. This comes from the Polish community. There are 22 different countries here.
Wonderful, right?
Fantastic. And I've just come from Shrewsbury Town Football Club.
Yeah, me too.
Where we won 3-1.
Wonderful.
It was brilliant. And I got to meet Tim Peake as well.
I saw him land in his helicopter.
He did. He came in and I shook his hand, and he's going to come and help me teach at Keystone Academy at some point in the future, which is fabulous.
I'd love to speak to him. I'd love to get a mic in front of him.
Yeah, I will put your name across. It'll be fabulous. But here is fantastic. The amount of food, really warm welcome. Loved it.
It's a positive thing because you've got the international community doing great things for these folks at Lincoln Davis as well.
Yes, yeah. This again is where community pulls together. I didn't realise we had so many diverse in Shrewsbury, and that's a win-win. I've videoed all the way around, and I'm going to post it on my Facebook page, my Twitter page, because we need to celebrate how diverse and how beneficial this is.
Yeah.
Nice also to meet the female officer that's been assigned to Shropshire for domestic abuse. So anybody can go and have a chat with her if they need any support. Female police officers in as well. We're a female front today.
Yes.
Definitely. And that's it's really good.
Fantastic. I love senior things. We need to do an end of year mayor thing. We need to get done quickly.
Yeah. We'll definitely do. I've got my mayoral ball coming up soon on the 29th of April.
I'd love to get involved with that.
Yeah, definitely come along because it's going to have an umpire band.
An
umpire band at the old Morris Hall, which used to be, that's the first place where Keir Hardy, the original Labour member, and one of the Morris brothers set up the Labour Party.
Wonderful.
I know. And it's like going through a time warp. You open the doors, got gas lights, all back in the day of 1920s. Beautiful building.
Send us something we can RSVP to. I'll definitely love to come to that.
Yeah. Love to, yeah.
I'll drop you a line. Thank you for chatting to me.
Fantastic. Well, lovely to see you. And I don't think I can fit any more in. I'll just had a massive roast up at the football team.
Don't worry, it's not live.
Okay.
It's pre-recorded. I'm Alex. I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Okay, my name is Claudia. I'm representing Lily of the Valley Catering Services.
Wonderful.
From Ghana.
Wonderful.
Which we do caterings. We cater for weddings, corporate events, parties, and the rest. Yeah.
What do events like this mean to you guys?
It helps the community to come together. Since COVID, we've been locked up in the house. So we are happy to come back together and show what we've got.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this is really good. The atmosphere is really nice.
Yeah.
Very positive. Lots of great people here.
We came all the way from Telford.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So spreading it around Shropshire, and is this like your calling card, right? This is like this is what we do.
Yeah.
This is what we do.
We come together and show what we've got.
Wonderful. Where can people find you? Can people find you on social media or?
No, I've got my telephone number and my email address. Yeah.
Okay, so it's Lily of the Valley Catering Service, like just said. You can call 07931 100 640, and we can book you for parties and events, right?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you for chatting to me today.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Cheers.
No one can see my face anyway.
No, it's pre-recorded anyway. But I'm Alex.
Hi,
Would you like to introduce yourself?
my name is Yoda.
Yoda?
Yeah, it's short for a long Greek name. Or you can, I'm the Jedi Master, whatever.
I love that. That's really good. That fits in with my philosophies. I love it. Who are you representing today?
So today, Eleni Angosta, Maudis, and myself, Yoda Maxfield, we're representing Cyprus,
Wonderful.
the south. So we are the Greek Cypriot cuisine here with lots of little delights. You can take some away home with you.
I will do. I'm going to do like a lap of the room, get loads of audio, and then I'm going to come back. Are you guys from a company or?
Yeah, so we have met. This is my sort of Greek family, but we're not blood related, from the Greek Orthodox Church in Shrewsbury.
Oh, I live by that.
So that's our base. We're very closely connected. What you can see here, the spread is usually produced about 3 times a year outside our tiny little church, and we make about £400 in a couple of hours' work because people come to the cake sale. Sometimes it's fasting, sometimes it's meat and dairy, depending on what we're doing at that time of year.
I'd love to come along to one of them.
You must come on Sunday.
I live in Sutton Grange, just
yeah, or even like we're at church on Sunday here.
Yeah.
At church this Sunday, and there's loads of youth. We have a youth club, Varangian Sunday, as in the Varangian Guards in the Byzantine era. Come on Sunday. If you come at 12, we won't have a cake sale. We'll offer you a little coffee. We don't have a hall. but we still do stuff because we're still growing.
Well,
What's your name? Alex?
I'm Alex, yeah.
Come on Sunday. The liturgy finishes at 12. So if you wanted to just come in inside and see the church.
It's more about meeting new people, you know, because like
you should come.
helping out my local community and helping you guys, you know, that's kind of what I'm about.
Who these people down the end of my road. You know, you should come.
Well, it's a brand new estate. You very rarely see people walking about, so this is a great opportunity to do that. So, anyway, thank you so much for chatting to me today. I'm going to come and get some of your food in a sec.
You must.
Brilliant. Thank you. Cheers. Thank you. Well, I'm not going to stop recording. I'm going to see if I can find people to speak to. I can see reporters here. I got called Shropshire Radio as well, which is quite funny. We've got a lady from Bangladesh. Are you okay to speak on the microphone? Yes? Well, I'm Alex, and I'm from the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sorry?
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, my name is Taslima.
Yes?
Yeah.
And you're from Bangladesh?
Yeah, I'm from Bangladesh.
Yes? And what does an event like this mean to you?
Sorry?
This event,
Yeah.
what does it mean to you to see so many people?
Just to introduce for our country.
Yeah? It's good to show what you guys can do with food.
Yeah. So food.
And meet new people.
Yeah.
Yeah? Wonderful. Well, I'll come round and I'll come look at the food in a sec. Thank you for chatting to me today. That's Bangladesh. I've got Ireland here. Hello. Hello. Oh, hello. Hello, I'm Alex from the Shrewsbury Biscuit, all right?
Nice to meet you. I'm Rabia. Sorry, I'm from...
No. I've just disturbed the mayor from her cake as well. I was kind of like, you speak to me.
Turkish stand as well.
Turkish? Okay.
Turkish stand, and we are from Turkey.
Wonderful. What does this mean to you, this event, you guys? She's trying to eat her food. Don't worry, I can ad-lib. I can do this.
We're all from Turkish foods as well in here, and Turkish stands. Yeah.
And is it nice meeting new people?
Yeah. It's really good. We meet with Kate, and she said we are doing international food days. We said, oh, it's okay, and we are so happy to see that.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So have you guys all made this together?
Yeah. We made it together as well.
Oh, okay. You guys have a cafe.
Yeah, we have coffee as well. Anatolia Coffee.
Anatolia Cafe.
Yeah, Turkish and English breakfast we will do it as well.
Oh, wonderful. So these guys from the Anatolia Cafe, Shrewsbury.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, it's great to meet you guys. I will come and try some food in a minute.
Yes, please. After that, thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, so let's keep walking. I'm not going to be able to get everybody. There's 22 countries. What food have you been trying, Timmy?
Cake and popcorn.
Yeah, cake and popcorn. I brought you to an international buffet, and he's had Polish cake and popcorn. Okay, that's cool.
Polish. Ukraine. What's the Ukraine?
It's from Ukraine, was it the cake? Right, we haven't stopped recording. I'm going to keep going. I'm going to find some more people. I can see Japan over here. The problem sometimes with doing this is not everybody is free to chat. I'm just pointing the microphone at people. We have Nigeria. Well, England. We also have Alex Wagner here. Hello, how are you? I'm recording. Right?
Oh, very well, thanks.
What does an event like this mean?
It's fantastic, isn't it? The local community, even in Shrewsbury, which isn't the most diverse place in the world, we can get 22 international representatives together, put on some great food, do it affordably. Like, it's really what it's all about, isn't it? It's a great attendance as well. A fair play to Adam and Kate Feshfair, I think, who were one of the main organisers from the Polish community, because they've really knocked it out of the park, I think.
Do you think this just shows like a nice positive side to the international community? Because there's lots of things being said about in the press lately, and this is probably the perfect time to be talking about stuff like this, right?
Absolutely, and I think what would be more interesting is, talking to some of the people here about what brought them to Shrewsbury, what brought their communities. I know in my division in Gaynes Park, we've got a really big Filipino community, in part due to their hospital.
Yes.
I think they're represented here today. I think I saw the flag earlier. The contribution they make is enormous, and yeah, as you say, it's a really good way of highlighting all that they're bringing to Shrewsbury and to Shropshire in general.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's nice to be invited. I think I've heard a couple of times today, so it's a privilege to come to something like this. I believe that too. I feel like this needs to be done twice a year, 3 times a year. But let's do it in the quarry. Let's get it out in the open. Let people see these things happening.
Absolutely, and we've got some of the best parks. We've got great community centres up and down Shrewsbury. I mean, this is a really good venue for something like this, but it's pretty full, isn't it? I don't know how they would have coped if there was another 5 or 6 stalls even, say. Actually, expanding seems to be the right thing to do if people are still interested, which no doubt after this they will be. It's really lovely to see, isn't it?
Brilliant. It's great to see you too. It's great to see you in person for a change.
Yeah, I know, not just over Zoom or the normal podcasting formats. It's I like your kit, by the way.
We just come back from the football. It was cold.
Yeah,
very cold.
I didn't manage to make it today. I suppose I'm not. Wish I had.
We had Tim Peaks, the astronaut, land in from a helicopter, and then it was very cold, very dramatic. But it was a good game though. We won.
Excellent. As I say, I'm deeply jealous of everyone who managed to go. I know a few people who were going.
Oh no! It took me about an hour to defrost. I'm still I'm dripping everywhere. That's why I look so rough today. But lovely to meet you, Alex. Properly. I'm going to go have a wander around. We're going to get one more person before I stop. Okay. I got Timmy here who's pretending he's got a robot arm. He's got a cup up his sleeve. Did anybody else used to do that? I used to do that too. Put your arm in a cup and shove it up your sleeve. Right. Let's find one more interview.
Represents Underdale, David.
Hello, how are you?
Fine, thank you. Enjoying myself here with all these different community groups.
Yeah, it's nice to... there's been lots of negativity going about in the world at the moment. It's nice to come out and see something positive, isn't it?
Yeah, and it's great what all the different communities can contribute to our, to Shrewsbury.
Yeah, it's different people with different lives, with different stories, right? And we get to go around and speak to these people and share food. My wife is showing all these amazing bits that she's trying to eat, and I haven't eaten one thing yet because I'm interviewing. What's been your go-to? What have you been trying today?
I've tried some of the African food here, the Nigerian.
From Nigerian,
which is lovely, and I've tried some of the Turkish food over there, which is
the Turkish food smells amazing.
The couscous, the kind of couscous type thing over there was wonderful. Very, very.
Stuffed peppers as well. Yeah, brilliant. Well, nice to meet you, by the way.
See you soon.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go for one. In fact, I can stop now because I said one more. But nice to meet you. So I'll just try some of the food. The food in there is absolutely amazing, and I made a new friend. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm PC Mark Morgan. I'm the hate crime officer for Shropshire.
And events like this are, I guess, super important when it comes to public relations, when it comes to the international community, right?
Yeah, definitely. So far as West Mercia are concerned, we try to be inclusive to all communities, and getting them to meet them in one spot like this is fantastic. So we get to chat and meet the members of the community, people we can link in with, people we can chat with, if they've got any issues or anything they wish to discuss regarding the police.
Would you say this is like the perfect time to be doing something like this? Get everybody thinking a bit more positively?
Yeah, definitely. Nothing too heavy, you know what I mean? Just introduce myself, give my details to a few people, people who would I say, leaders within their community, people that, others would generate round, perhaps for some advice with regards to the police, and then they can link in with me.
It must be really nice for you, actually, to do something positive like this, because I guess you must deal with a lot of nitty-gritty, hardcore stuff at times, so to see smiling faces and food and music must be really nice for you.
Yeah, great. It's the best part of the job.
Thank you.
Especially the food.
Absolutely. Thank you for chatting to me.
You're welcome. Brilliant. Thanks very much.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so I'm a detective with West Mercia Police, and my name's Jane Harding.
Nice to meet you. I was speaking to members of PCSO, and the gentleman from Hate Crimes as well. These events are really important, aren't they? We're reaching out to the community and speaking to people.
They're brilliant. Mark, who you spoke to, who's the hate crime officer, he specialises in hate crime, and I've got a similar role. So my role is dealing with violence against women and girls across Shropshire. So I do a similar role to Mark in that I specialise in crimes that affect women and girls and make sure that we give the best service that we can.
Wonderful. You must see and hear an awful lot of dramatic, difficult things. So to be out here doing something positive in the community and breaking ice with people and breaking bread with people is important, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've no doubt there's some people here today who have probably never spoken to a police officer for various reasons. So I'm really hoping that their first impression and their first interaction is a positive one, and to try and change some stereotypes that might be there from whatever cultures they've come from and whatever backgrounds.
Well, this has been a real eye-opener, because we do a lot of work with international communities anyway with the Biscuit, but like the music, the food, the culture, the friendly faces, the smiles, it's really nice to see, and it's just the perfect place to have nice conversations like this about, potentially serious things.
Yeah, for sure. Most of the time when people speak to the police, it's because something awful has happened, or they're going through a really bad time in their lives. So it's really good to flip that on its head and just have a positive interaction with them and have a nice time and enjoy some food.
Well, I was speaking to Mark and I was talking about I'd love to reach out to the police and do something positive with the Shrewsbury Biscuit. I mean, we've been going for a long time. We've got a good reputation. Why not do something positive with that and with the police and talk about the positive things that you guys do for people? Because I think that's really important. The human element to the police is very, very important. You guys are humans too, you do normal things like we do.
Yeah, definitely. My role is quite a new one. We started in January and there's been a dedicated officer appointed to every division across the force. So it'd be really good to get the message out there of what we're doing, because part of our role is to try and improve people's confidence in the police in dealing with violence against women and girls. And the best way to do that is to actually speak to people, hear what they need, and make sure that they know there's people doing this specialist role, because we genuinely care about it, None of us are made to be here. We've picked this role and we've applied for this role because domestic violence is one of the things that we're most hot on and that we're very passionate about. So.
Oh, wonderful. Well, thank you for doing what you do. What's been the tables you visited the most today? What food have you been enjoying today?
Oh, probably the Cypriotic food.
That was good, yeah. I like them and the Turkish.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for sweet food, so I'm trying my best to stay away.
Well, I'm meant to be on keto. I'm doing really well on it, but this weekend I've kind of failed a little bit. So I thought, whilst I'm down here, I'm going to have a bit of cake, a few carbs, why not? And I'll pick it back up again on Monday.
Good for you.
Well, thank you for chatting to me today, and I appreciate you reaching out to me.
Yeah, no problem. Good to meet you.
Anyway, guys, that's we had to go because my little boy's very tired. He's very upset, so we've had to go. But
well, anyway, it's the end.
It's the end. There he is. Look, that's the mini biscuit. Great conversations with a number of different people from a number of different sort of facets, if that's the correct word. Oh, I'm walking on soggy grass now. I've had some great food, some great conversations with members of the international community, with the police, with the organisers. I didn't get a chat with Lincoln Davis, and I feel guilty about that, but we speak to Lincoln Davis all the time. I know they're doing great things, and people are doing great things for them. So best of luck to Lincoln Davis. I hope you do well from that event tonight. So thank you, Kate, for the invite. Really, really enjoyed tonight. And so I'm going to put this at the front of this great episode with Vince, Dovey and Neville Street. Had some great conversations about them today. Positive stuff, I promise, guys. So enjoy the episode, guys. And thank you to everybody that spoke to me at this great event. Hello guys, and welcome to the Shrewsbury Biscuit podcast. I'm Alex Whiteley.
Hi, I'm Verity.
Hi Verity, you alright?
I'm alright, are you?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen you. I haven't seen you in ages and ages.
No, it's been like hours. No, it's days.
So it's nice being able to record. I mean, this is going to go out, I think, a couple of weeks after Kids Fest. Because we've got Chasing Mallory, and then we've got Triple J, and then we've got this one. But the last time we recorded was at a very busy arena with thousands of people walking around us.
Yeah, it was a bit hectic, wasn't it?
It was. But I enjoyed it. Today I was going through the audio. I think I've got day one together, and it's like an hour and a half. This episode is because we've got so much, but it's wonderful. It's wonderful. Today on the Shrewsbury Biscuit, we're speaking to good friends of the show. I've got Vince, Dovey and Neville Street. How are you guys?
Very well, thank you. Nice to meet you. Talk with you.
Vince, this is the third time you've been on the show. I love chatting to you.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it's the third time. And last time we spoke to Neville was at Art, which was November,
yeah, backstage at Theatre 7, yeah.
Different capacity we're speaking to you at today.
Yes.
You're a man of many talents, aren't you? I mean, you're working with so much behind the scenes at Shrewsbury with music promotion, the Shropshire Drama Company, and helping Vince out with this.
Yeah. Lots of things going on. Yes.
Yeah. I mean,
that's another podcast. That.
Yeah, I feel like there is genuinely so much. I mean, like when people talk to me about the Shrewsbury Biscuit, and they're like, "Oh, do you not run out of things to talk about?" And I'm like, no, not really. We have recurring guests like Vince, but every time Vince comes on the show, you got something new to talk about. You've made something new, or you've created something new. It's quite cool.
Yeah, I do seem to get about a bit, don't I?
Which is great. How do you find it, Neville? I mean, like, you must have seen other towns. I know they exist, but as far as like interesting things and things that happen in Shrewsbury, do you feel like it's like a centre of culture? Do you feel like there's lots going on here? I mean,
I think there is actually, and I was kind of drawn back to Shrewsbury. I moved here from Bristol in mid-80s and then spent a couple of years in London kind of loosely working in what can be called the music business. And then this invisible kind of fishing line, I'm doing the visual now, by the way, this fishing line kind of reeled me back in. And ever since then, there's been lots of things going on in Shrewsbury. Whether it's drama, music, it's street theatre, it's a really cultural place. And then when we had the theatre built, that's kind of added to it as well. But people are still pushing, and they're still wanting to play music, wanting to make sure that pubs are still open and put on plays and just keep the vibrancy of the town going. I think it's really important. And on that, I think it draws people in from all over the West Midlands and up as far as Chester. As down far as Wales and Birmingham, London. It has a certain magic about it, this town, which you can't kind of leave. And I've been in places. I've been over to New York, which I really like, and the other side of the world and stuff. But there's still that thing once you come back, you get to Shrewsbury. I'm home here, and especially if you've got a good circle of friends and so on. It's fantastic.
I feel like Shrewsbury's been punching above its own weight for a long time, especially been doing this for nearly 5 years now. And there are towns starting to really sort of catch up. You talk about Telford. Telford's thrown on some great stuff recently with the balloon fiestas and the great stuff that they're doing there. And Ludlow, that castle, they're pumping out some amazing guests at that castle. So there are towns in Shropshire catching up for sure. And which is why it's great to talk about this place as a county and the town as well. So I feel like, and Verity, you've been on the show for 6 weeks.
I couldn't tell you.
It's been a while.
An amount of time.
And in that time, we've covered so much together. It's been a great journey because we've literally covered everything, every type of thing you can. Music.
Really cool. And I think you summed up. You used a couple of descriptive words there. One was vibrant and one was magical, and I think that does encapsulate like the spirit of Shrewsbury so nicely, because there is so much and there's so much character in the town. There's so much going on.
I think for me, I moved up here from London. Cool.
You came from London? No way.
No, it's difficult.
I came here from London.
But since I've moved up here, my two sisters moved up. They came and stayed for a weekend, and foolishly I showed them about.
What do we have here?
Yeah. My brother moved over from St Lucia with his family.
What made you come to Shrewsbury to begin with?
Oh, it's a long and very tedious story, but I came up here.
You wanted to talk to people as they walk by. You're like, London, you can't really do that.
No, head down. Don't make eye contact.
We had that conversation before. I found that riveting.
No, I came up here with a young lady. Didn't work out. Didn't fancy moving back. Absolutely love London, still do. But to visit, I don't think I'd want to live back down there.
Yeah.
I like the fact that when I moved up here, everywhere shut at 11 o'clock. And now, if I want to go and get a Turkish meal at 3 o'clock in the morning, I can go and do it. If I want to get into the countryside in 10 minutes, I can do it. It's nice, it's safe, and it constantly surprises me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. It's a great place to live. I'm sure the listeners will agree. And Verity today had to remind me. She was like, "Am I coming up to yours later?" I was like, "Oh my God, Verity, yes, I do remember." Yeah,
I was just checking.
Yeah.
I think that's it's partly because there's a lot going on, but it's also partly because you're an enthusiastic champion for the town, and that comes across. You get a lot of people that go on about Shrewsbury, but they do it in quite a small, insular way, just about their interest. And listening to the podcast, you talk to all and sundry. All and sundry.
I enjoy conversation. I think conversation is getting a bit lost now, especially with like the TikTok era. When you can sit down, like, this is nice, isn't it? Just sitting down and just talking. And, we can sit here for an hour and talk. Whereas, like, you work in tech, you work in the media and social media and then sort of things, like conversation is becoming something that I think young people definitely struggle with because they're constantly looking for the next thing. Although, that being said, Kids Fest, we met like new up and coming engineers and things. So there's like that side, and then there's like the reassuring side. Yeah, we'll be okay, but there might be a few issues along the way.
Oh, there's going to be issues. There was issues with my generation. There was issues with the generation before. There's always going to be issues. But you look at kids on the whole, decent, educated, kind people.
Yeah.
I think the future's quite bright.
Yeah. Especially, I mean, you're involved with the scouts and stuff, and my boy as well, and the beavers and stuff, and I'm getting a writer error there on my SD card again. It will work. It's nice to see kids that have got like they have like a goal and they run towards it. And with the scouts we're talking about, what was it? They're going to Norway, was it?
No, they're going to South Korea.
And the ones we were talking to.
Oh yeah, the
Finland and North Korea.
I think Norway.
No,
Norway.
There's
North Korea. I said North Korea. They're not going to North Korea, guys.
It's got a batch of parents just panicking.
I wasn't going to say anything, Albert.
yeah, we can't send them to North Korea. So, Vince, we're talking about culture. We're talking about, Nev, you're talking about, there's vibrancy in this town, going out for a beer and all this sort of stuff. We've got to protect people, right? Because there is an ongoing trend of certain behaviours in clubs and pubs and things. That I think is quite alarming, and it must have alarmed you because I think I've called you like you're almost like a tech vigilante because you make things to protect people, whether it's apps that keep people safe walking home or your newest creation, which is a test kit to test for spiked drinks.
Yeah, I think it's it comes from it sounds a bit weird, it comes from a slightly selfish place. I've got kids and I've got nieces and nephews, and I want them to be able to go out and enjoy themselves at night and feel safe, and not have the panic of parents being overbearing and worrying about this and worrying about that. There's enough to worry about in the world. So we did the app for helping people get home safely.
How did that take off? Because I know you were quite excited about that.
It hit a bump in the road with COVID because people weren't going out. But we've partnered up with a couple of organisations down south, and it's bobbing along nicely. It's like a lot of things. It's one of a suite of things that can be offered to people to make them feel safe. We've never said that anything that we do is a cast iron guarantee that everyone's going to be safe, but we found this out over the last couple of months. It's about adding little levels of protection for people, little levels of protection that might stop an incident happening. And also, with this drink spiking project, it's about assisting bars and clubs to make the whole environment safer. So it's not just spiking, we're working with violence against women groups, we're working with other tech companies to protect people and make them feel safe when they go into venues.
Yeah,
because pubs and clubs are having a terrible time of it, and the last thing they need is people to feel unsafe. They don't want that. They want everyone to feel safe in their venue. So we're trying to find a little route through that helps make people feel a bit more comfortable.
And it's sad, isn't it? I mean, we do have a woman with us today.
Hello.
How do you think, like, going out and stuff is? Do you think things have changed? Do you feel safe going out nowadays, Verity?
I rarely go out.
I know. But when you do,
when I do on that nice occasion, do you know? I was just thinking when I was younger, when I started going out. It was just before like social media. Well, the internet was a really big thing, and I'm not the sort of person who will sit in anxieties and sort of go, oh, I'm nervous. I'm the sort of person who'll go, be all right.
Yeah.
And I would be a classic candidate to, for something to happen because I just wouldn't have been aware. I'd have been like, come out to have a good time. But I know the anxieties of the potential, it is in the news everywhere, things like this. It will stop people from enjoying themselves or letting go as much, which maybe wouldn't be a bad thing if something had stopped me being so silly.
One of the most interesting things about that is for such an in-your-face problem, such a well-publicised problem, there isn't the stats. People don't know how often it's happening.
Yeah.
It's anecdotal. And, if it happens to one person, it can go all over social media and then it can seem like everyone's getting spiked or everyone's having a terrible time on a night out, or venues or people can turn around and say, well, it doesn't happen here. And the truth of the matter is it's the police struggle with recording it because someone might have been spiked or might not have been spiked, but they may not report it for 3 or 4 days. And then what do you do with that? Where were you? What
the evidence is gone.
Yeah. So what we've tried to do is, we've got these test strips that are behind the bar, free of charge for punters to use. They go up, they get their drink tested. If they think it's been spiked, it will do a quick 2-drop test. It takes a couple of minutes and it reports back whether there is whether the drink's been tampered with. But it's also about recording it. Venues can record positive and negative tests. If you're out, Verity, and someone's messed with your drink, and you can record it. So there's records of incidents against locations on date and time stamped. So we can build up a picture of where incidents are happening. We can celebrate if there are no incidents. Brilliant, fantastic. In this bar or in this strip or in this town, there were no instances recorded. Or if there are instances, we can speak to the police. We work very closely with venues and say it's not something to be afraid of. It's informing you if there's an issue, and you can then take steps. We're working on policies and procedures with venues. If it happens, what you have to do, a 9-step program, what you have to do to make sure that the customer's safe, to make sure the drinks kept safe for evidence if need be. You've got your own internal policies and procedures. It's just about a wraparound care. So if something happens, everybody knows what to do. And when we talk to the police and when we talk to the council, we can turn around and say, there's some real data for you.
Yeah, it's about educating those venues as well, like you said. So if something does become apparent, something's happened, all the staff there are like, okay, so this is what we do now. This is how we approach this situation.
What's been really interesting, the venues we've spoken to are universally in favour of having a policy and procedure in place. And for 2 reasons. One, because they, despite what people think, they want to protect their customers. But number 2 is they want to be known publicly as a venue that's taking it seriously.
Yeah.
It increases footfall. If my niece is going out and she's got a choice between a pub that has a policy in place for this, or violence, or sexual harassment, or misogyny, or any of these things, if they've got a policy for that, they're more likely to go to that bar than they are a bar that doesn't seem to be taking it as seriously. So it's venues are really in favour of it. Once you get past the initial, I haven't got a problem. Well, no one's saying you have got a problem. We're trying to work with you.
Yeah.
There's that, and also when we we're running a pilot scheme at the moment, and we will mention the name of the bar because they've been fantastic, really supportive and really helpful. It's Albert Shed in Shrewsbury and Albert Shed in Telford, And when we first spoke to David about this, and we said, we were going to record, David Gregg, sorry, the manager, we're going to record potential instances. His one worry was that information would be public and would go out through public forum and stuff. And we said, no, it's actually anonymous. So no names attached with it. It's just a simple questions and a time and date stamp, which Vince has mentioned. And then when we did some research with Shrewsbury and Telford as well, and overwhelmingly, something like 92% of people who we spoke to said they would much prefer to go to a bar with a anti-spiking project in place. And again, something like 92%, 93% of those people would also recommend that bar to their friends. So it's a plus for the venues. And like Vince said, it's something that if they can embrace it and educate the staff to know how to the procedures in place and how to work those, then it's the win-win, because people will much prefer to go to a place where they're going to have a reasonably kind of safe night out. So
when you're saying it like that, it just sounds like a no-brainer.
It's a no-brainer, yeah. Absolutely.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
This isn't a new problem, though. This is a problem we've been dealing with since I first started going out when I was 18 years, all those years ago. I remember having to prop some guy up because he was spiked with ketamine.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I had to hold him up while the ambulance came, because it was a metal disco, like a rock metal disco, and where we were outside was muddy, and I didn't want to lie him on the wet floor, so I had to hold him up while the ambulance comes. Why have people not been taking this seriously for so long? Why is it taking so long for people to catch up, do you think?
I think the culture in bars has changed massively over the years. It's gone from being get a problem out of my pub as quickly as possible, or my club as quickly.
Get out
as
of my pub, yeah.
Yeah, I could have done that. Or
too late.
Excuse me. It used to be get it out of my pub. Now it's I owe a duty of care to people. I want people to come back to my venue. I want people to tell everyone about how cool my venue is. But there hasn't been something, I know it sounds stupid, but it hasn't been something simple and easy to enable them to do this.
Yeah.
It's been quite complex, and there've been a number of different variants on projects, and we can put stoppers over stuff and just say no. I mean, we've been speaking to a lady down in Bristol who's the Nighttime Czar, which is a fantastic job title, down in Bristol, and they moved from a zero tolerance approach to a harm reduction approach, and it's reaped wonderful rewards for the city. It used to have a lot of problems, and now they're turning around excuse me, and saying, we know things are going to happen, so it's how do we deal with that, how do we mitigate that, how do we make it harder for people to act badly, but when they do, we've got support structures in place. And I think that's without blowing our own trumpet, I think that's the bit that's been missing. Perhaps in towns like Shrewsbury, it's no one's pointing any fingers at anybody because they've all got the same aim, and we're just trying to make it easy for them.
Of course.
And they've got a great collaborative approach, haven't they, between the council, the local BID, and Carly as well. Yeah. And they've got something like 160 venues who've already had test strips in them, which is just superb. That's not ours, though. No,
Shropshire.
No, this is in Bristol.
In Bristol, great.
I think the difference between what's happening in maybe the previous couple of years with testing and what we're trying to do at First and Bowery is that the test strips have been aimed at people who are going out for the evening, so they've had to pay for them, whereas we're actually aiming it at the venues. So the venues take responsibility, and along with it, with the tech as well, so they can actually record the instances. So that's where we're hoping to kind of find that kind of niche, as it were.
Yeah, putting some accountability onto the venue for keeping a safe environment.
But, like you said before, it's a no-brainer though, and it's not a big deal, and it can be. It's not expensive for them, and it become part of their kind of marketing costs, which is
Yeah, I think that's the quid pro quo. It's it shouldn't be, Verity, let's say you're going out with a couple of mates. It shouldn't be your responsibility to buy some expensive test strips to protect yourself. So it's moving around and saying to the venue, right, it should be your responsibility to do that.
You should be providing a safe environment to the best of your ability.
But rather than gouging them in terms of price, what we're turning around and say, right, we're doing it almost at cost.
Yeah.
And you've got this other tech in there. We're not going to, I don't think either of us going to have a Bentley or a yacht out of this.
This is why I call him Batman, by the way, because he's like, the stuff he makes is almost not, is non-for-profit. It's kind of like just, I want to make it to make people safe. And that's what I like about it.
I mean, it's the plan. And if we can do that, and it comes back to if I can make it safer for my kids when they go out, then job done.
But you do like the saying of a chunk of change, though.
Oh, chunk of change.
A chunk of change would be useful because it means we can because at the moment it's just all our own money that's going into this.
Well, it's good to put money back into it and develop it further and create a whole line of things. I remember a few years ago they had beer mats, didn't they, that you could blot drinks on, and they I don't know. But I think people are probably like, I don't want to spill my drink. I don't know. They've been experimenting for years. I grew up in Wrexham, and going out drinking around Wrexham was at times a nightmare. But I remember years ago they were experimenting with so many different things, like mood lighting. They put like spotlights on the floor, and then they shine them up against like nice metal things to calm people down. I remember one. This is genuine. I'm not even lying. This is actually happened. They had people outside giving people lollies as they came out the nightclubs and they closed them, and then they started fighting over the lollies.
Yep.
It actually happened. I was there. I was like, oh my god. So I know they've been trying for a long time, but I think the problem that you guys might face, or certainly towns, as you mentioned, local BIDs and bids and stuff, is treating clubs and pubs like a hive mind. Because I think that's probably the biggest mistake to make, because everyone's an individual. They run their own clubs in an individual manner, don't they?
Absolutely, yeah.
But I think this is, without venting too much, this is one of the differences that we found between sort of Shrewsbury and London and Bristol. We've got a meeting in a couple of weeks' time with a guy who heads up 17 councils 17 boroughs, in London. And when you speak to him, he's sitting there going, that's the kind of thing we've been looking for. That's we can, as a council, we can put pressure on venues to show us what your policies are for. They have to have a drug policy. They have to have a violence policy.
Yeah.
They should have to have a drink spiking policy. They should have to have a harassment or violence against women policy. And they're all part of the same issue. It's making it unacceptable to behave in certain ways. And Bristol have done it really well. We're speaking to student union groups. They've got an enormous economic hammer they can hit venues with if they feel they're not being treated properly. But in Shropshire, in Shrewsbury, we found with the council and the bids, it's trying to get this joined up thinking. It's trying to get this joined up approach.
Yeah.
And it's very much it's a brilliant idea. Absolutely love it. You need to go and speak to them. And then we'll tap on someone's door for ages because we're two blokes not necessarily in the first flush of youth. And we're trying to say, right, we're trying to do this. Oh, yeah, okay, then you need to go and speak to the council, you need to speak to BID.
Especially when
it kind of goes around in circles.
Yeah, I bet. And especially when you were saying at the beginning, you don't have the statistical information because people don't always report these things. It must be really difficult to be like, well, there is a problem. And I guess like Shrewsbury has got a kind of natural problem that other towns don't have. A big roaring river that runs right through it that is dangerous and is taking lives every year,
But that's other towns and cities seem to turn around and say, right, we acknowledge the fact that the nighttime economy brings in enormous amount of money to the area. So we'll help with pilot schemes. We'll help with just congregating all the venues in one place and sitting there saying, right, talk to them, explain the situation. Every venue we've spoken to has said, yep, fine, count us in. Every venue.
I know that they have a town link, don't they, for the pubs? All the pubs have got radios that all link together.
Yeah.
Which is great, which means you already do have a collective of clubs. So you can go, well, if you have the town link, or you have that's what they used to call it, I think, town link, and you part of that, then let's throw these out to everybody that's attached to that already. You've already got that membrane, I guess, of clubs that you can roll it out to.
You're right. You're 100% right. I think it's just trying to get over that first hurdle of let's get everyone to work together And whether it's us or, next month there could be an even better idea out there. Yeah, and it might happen.
Yeah.
But let's do something, because if Shrewsbury, if venues within Shrewsbury get a reputation, it's incredibly difficult to get rid of that reputation, even if they haven't done anything wrong.
I think communication is really important. There was a club that we worked with in Telford last year, and there was a serious incident there, which was horrific. And I was very pleasantly surprised to see the club cooperating with the police, cooperating with the public, changing things to make sure that hopefully things like this don't happen again. Instead of the whole get it out my pub kind of mentality, they actually communicated, and they actually, it was a terrible thing that happened, but it's not always the venue owner's fault. There's some things happen, do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you're making changes to make things less possible to happen again, I guess that's the best way to do it. You know?
There's two things from what you said there. The first thing you have to get straight with people is venues want to do the right thing.
Of course.
It would be economic suicide for them to sit there and go, I don't give a stuff. There's so many other places people can go and spend their money.
Of course.
I want you to come to my venue. The second thing is that with staff, a lot of these staff might do, a couple of shifts a month. They might be transient. They might work in different bars. If you have uniformity about what to do in certain situations, whatever that situation is, you have uniform
checklist,
and that's what the app does. You've got a positive result. Right, there are 9 things you've got to do, and you've got to tick each one of these off. Yeah, and it might be go and find the manager, inform the door staff, protect the drink, sit with the person who's been affected. Do I need to call an ambulance? All those kind of things.
Yeah.
But it's just making it easy for someone who's, let's face it. I mean, I've worked in bars before, and it can be a hellish job at times. Let's make it easy for these people, and I get the feeling that there is there's a groundswell from people that want to embrace tech. They want to embrace these new ideas, and it's our job now to go out and see as many of these people as we can, and hopefully sign them all up.
How are you finding, with the, excuse the phrase, the older generation, the more mature, the silver generation, are kind of, because you work in tech, you work with apps, how do you feel like they adopt these things? Do you think there's a bit of pushback with technology? Do you think it's getting easier? Do you think COVID may have helped with people? I mean, how are things from your perspective with that?
COVID, as horrible as it was, introduced a lot of people to the benefits of tech. Now, admittedly, it now means that my kids can have a Zoom call with their granddad where they can just spend 40 minutes talking to a camera shoved up his nose or something like that because he can't work out where the camera goes. But it's opened up a lot of people's... they're a lot more willing to embrace tech.
Mm-hmm.
What you won't get around is the fact that there's and this is a tech problem, tech can solve an awful lot, but it's got this horrible tendency to be overly complicated. It's got this horrible tendency to be, right, now all you need to do is press that, move that, slide that, up that, do that, press that, log in here, and then do that.
It's simple. When they change things as well. Everybody knows where to look for, like, menu or settings. You look for the three tree, right? The three tree lines, the three lines on top of each other. Say they change that symbol all of a sudden. Everyone's like, oh, where is it? They're trying to find it. Like, keep everything simple. Like you said, a great user interface is really important. I guess.
It's one of the hardest things to do, is to make it simple.
Yeah, this actually came up a bit with SafeStep with the phone app. We saw a lot of alternatives, and actually parallel to that as well, we went to a couple of weeks ago. Went up to London to the Nighttime Industries Association conference, and we were talking to people there. And one person in particular had their own phone app, and it just looked really complicated. Yeah. And it was, somebody's walking home from a pub, and they want to just track where they're going. To have to have all this kind of bits and pieces on the app to make it more difficult was just seemed ridiculous to me. So that's why the app, for example, the SafeStep app is really, really, really simple to use. And again, when we were talking about the recording of drink spike incidents, again, we just need to make it really, really simple. Somebody's in the bar, they're working around the bar, they're busy, somebody comes up and says, I'm not sure about my drink, okay. we'll test it, and then we'll record it, and it takes 5 minutes at the most, and they can get on with the job. Great if it's negative, the people can carry on carry on their evening and enjoy the evening. But if it's positive, obviously, then like Vince has said, that you go through the 9-point plan, which again is really, really simple to use. And I think also going back to what we were talking about at the beginning, Verity, we were talking about Shrewsbury being this buzzy place, and it is a hive of creativity. And I think one of the stumbling blocks is that, okay, for us that, that there are drink spiking kits out there, and we have partnered with a company who actually manufactures them. So that's what we're using. But we've developed the tech, and this is something. It's a first. It's a first for this particular way of looking at drink spiking, and it's in Shrewsbury. It's happening here, and we should be shouting from the rooftops about it because it's quite unique. And
so you're pioneers in this whole thing.
Well, yeah, you said it. I didn't.
The pioneers. Yeah. I mean, working tech with a dipstick, effectively, is like I said, it's quite groundbreaking, really, because you've got the effects put into a database, which then creates a block map of what's going on.
So when you use the app, if you were recording a result of whatever, does that automatically goes into a database?
If you're, let's say you work behind a bar, someone comes up to you and says, I think my drink's been spiked. Take it, test it. If it's negative, you scan a QR code, it automatically date stamps that it's in Joe's bar, Friday night, 11:34. Male, 3 choices, male, female, other. And there's a little box if you want to, positive or negative. If it's negative, you can put a little bit of information in if you want to, a little text box, but you don't have to. Press hit, 20 seconds. And that will record that venue had a negative incident at that time and that date.
And the QR code is specific for the venue.
Yeah.
There's another QR code for the customer.
For the customer, they can scan it as well.
So they record it as well if they want to.
And that one wouldn't necessarily be venue specific, or
no, it wouldn't be venue specific.
Yeah,
so we know.
The customer.
And I guess if you say someone's listening to this now from the Shrewsbury Biscuit, and they were like, "Oh man, I was spiked at such and such a bar last Saturday," and the tech's already out there and stuff, they could probably go back to that bar and report it.
They can go back and report it.
But I guess they will be able to test the drink.
No, they won't be able to test the drink, and this is why all around the bars are signposts saying, if you're not sure, if you're worried, it's free to test your drink. Go and test it.
Yeah.
Bars are happy to test your drink.
Do you know what? I'm not. Is that something that's changed? Because when I was younger, I was with a friend who was spiked. It wasn't even in this country, but the bar's attitude was like, they've just drunk too much. Take them home. They've just drunk too much.
The counterpoint to that, and it is a very valid point, and people have said this to us. The counterpoint to it is that person can go home. They could have drunk too much. They could have taken something. They could have been spiked, but they can jump on their keyboard the next day. I was in such and such and such a bar, and this happened to me. There's no pushback then. There's no pushback for the venue.
And then you got Lager Larry. He's kind of like, "Oh yeah, you just can't handle your drink, can you, bruv?" Mm-hmm. And there's probably that bit of pushback. That bravado is kind of like, because I guess this happens to guys and girls that are with groups of guys as well. Like you've got to try and get through to people like this in a way that's like, it's not that it's uncool to test your drink. It's safe. It's making sure that everybody in your group is safe. It doesn't matter if you're, or you're somebody else. You've got to make sure it's safe. And I guess that keeps, if it's your local bar, for example, sleepy bar that you never see any trouble. It keeps that safe. That's your watering hole.
It's a bit like wearing seatbelts in cars.
Yeah, of course.
There's a kickback against that. It's a bit like wearing. I go cycling a lot. It's a bit like wearing cycling helmets. People didn't do it, then they do.
I love the feeling of reassurance around what you're doing, because you're not saying I'm going to stop anybody from being spiked ever again. No. You're just saying, you're putting a seatbelt on it, and you're saying if it does happen, I'm going to do my best to keep you safe.
Yeah.
Do you know that's 100%.
I like that. I like the one.
We've been very clear from the very start. Anyone who says they can stop spiking is selling porkies. You can't do it. But what we can do is say that if something happens, there's a system in place, a process in place. And not only is there a process in place immediately for the person who's been spiked, but then there's education for people about, God, we've got an issue in my bar. I need to do something about it. Owners can do something about that. Door staff can keep an eye out for, because interesting stats are, it's not. There are mainly 3 or 4 types of spiking. There's just a laugh. Let's see what happens. Put it in someone's drink, which normally, not universal, but normally male on male. Then you've got the next most popular, if I can use the term popular, type of spiking, is for robbery, where you incapacitate someone, follow them outside 20 minutes later, pop them over the back of the head and mug them.
Yeah.
The third type is for sexual assault reasons. But in the public eye, people don't see that. People see that it's all sexual assault.
Yeah.
And all we're trying to do is turn around and say, look, the more people know what's going on, the more people know where they're safe, the more venues know what they're doing, it can't be a bad thing.
And it must be, because I sense the reassurance that you guys are putting out there. I can feel it. I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that sounds like a decent plan. It must be reassuring for the venues as well to have something better than a beer mat over the glass, something a little bit more real.
That's why I'm proud of Albert Shed for embracing this in the way that they have, because it is a prominent venue in both Shrewsbury and Telford.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, when we first approached Dave, he got his security team to come and meet us as well.
Oh, nice.
And we sat, and the bar managers, and we sat down and just said, look, throw questions at us, because you're the ones who have to do it. You know, we can provide the tech, we can provide the strips, but you're the ones who are going to have to do it on the floor. And we had a great chat for about an hour, all sorts of, how does it work, what do we do if, and Dave sat there, and I'll never forget, he turned me and he said, I'll sign up because it will keep my customers safe, it keeps my bar staff safe, and it keeps my reputation safe. And if I can do all of those 3 things for Tupman's Halfpenny, then why wouldn't I do it? And I think it's a smart move. It's a good move, but it's a smart move on his part as well.
do you think this will help with things like business insurance? I don't know how it works with bars and things, because, you know, like if you got a dash cam in your thing and you apply for insurance, for your car insurance, and he goes, have you got a dash cam? And you go, yes. And he goes, it drops down like a tenner.
I don't think it'll help with insurance, but what we have found, and what's increasingly going to come over the next couple of years, is licensing authorities are going to say, right, if you want to renew your licence,
I want to see your
what policy you got for that specifically.
And that should be happening anyway, shouldn't it, really? I mean...
Well, there's a lot of things that should be happening that aren't.
Well, let's talk about that. What's the biggest setbacks for you guys? What's been the hardest challenges that you've faced?
How long's the podcast?
Honestly, I think the biggest problem we've got is we wanted to run a large trial in Shrewsbury, so hometown. We wanted to get as many venues signed up in Shrewsbury as possible, and we found that the route that we originally decided to take, which was council, BID and police, was circular. Yeah, it's brilliant, speak to them. Yeah, it's brilliant, speak to them. Yeah, it's brilliant, speak to them.
No one's actually grasping it.
If you can get them to sign up, then we'll sign up. And if you can get them, and in the end, not patience ran out, but we sat there and thought, do you know what? We're just going to have to get off our behinds and do it ourselves.
Well, in fact, we're actually going to go and see a venue after the podcast tonight.
And then
after the recording, yeah.
But also we've got this conversation with the guys down in London.
Yeah.
We're in discussions with Bristol, Gloucester. So we've had to go out. It's a bit of a shame because we would love to have turned around and said, because Shrewsbury's got this purple flag for nighttime economy, that it's safe. We'd love to turn around and say, right, we built it here, we designed it here, we rolled it out here.
Well, it's progressing on that purple flag, that kind of good reputation that Shrewsbury has. You know, I've been out in Shrewsbury a few times. It's nice. It is nice.
Oh, it is.
I grew up in Wrexham, like I said, and pretty much every night time I go out there, it would be a hell. It would be hell. There'd be fights. There'd be all sorts going on.
I'll take your Wrexham and raise you South East London.
I've done that too. And Digbeth. There's a few places I've been that's just...
Maybe it's you.
Maybe it's me. Yeah, maybe it follows. You know what? I'll take you up on that one. Yeah. And this is, by the way, and this is not me digging the hole of Wrexham. I've got friends that live in Wrexham still that listen to my show. There are problems everywhere. But Shrewsbury does seem to have a good reputation, and that's really good. So you're saying... let's progress on that. Let's not just stay here and tread water in this nice swimming pool. Let's make it better.
I think got to be really clear. Shrewsbury is a safe, nice, decent town. And statistically, it's very safe. At night, it's very safe. You've got some fantastic door staff. You've got some fantastic venues. You've got police do a wonderful job. Street pastors do a fantastic job. You've got all these guys and girls out there working hard to make it a brilliant night out.
Yeah.
We're not saying that it's the Wild West out there, far from it. But if it enables 10, 50, 100 more people to come out and enjoy the nightlife because they feel a bit safer, then that's going to benefit the town, it's going to benefit the venues, and it will just enhance the reputation of the town. And that's it. I mean, all the rest of it is great, but if you boil it down, I think it's brilliant here. I think you think it's brilliant here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make it even that little 5%.
Make it brillianter.
Brillianter.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, we'll do brillianter.
I like that. I think the last night I had was at Tap and Can when we met my friend Jane Pickwick. And I remember that night was really good because I can remember just sitting back and looking around and thinking, yeah, this is a nice place. You know, kind of warm feel.
It was a nice place. I wish I'd have known it was dog friendly.
Yeah.
Although I went somewhere afterwards that wasn't, so it wouldn't have made a difference.
There's a lot of places doing that now. You can walk your dog into the Darwin Centre now.
There's some great bars in Shrewsbury. Really, you know.
Yeah.
And pubs and I think, you know, having lived here for quite a long time, it's been through phases where we've been really spoiled, and it's been quite hard, and then somebody else has opened a new bar and that's been good, and then somebody else has seen that worked, and then I think at the moment it's going back to what we said in the beginning, it's very vibrant, you know, it's good.
I'd think because of the press that you've had. I mean, I read a story in The Guardian. Was it The Guardian? Express,
yeah.
Express, that you know, that's the actual Express that you were in. I'd have thought that sort of press and that sort of coverage would have helped you out a bit more, especially being in partnership with sort of Albert Shed. They're big flagship for you know, bars here.
Oh, don't get me wrong, the progress is being made,
just not on the speed that you wanted.
But I've got to be honest, I don't think it was ever going to be exactly at the speed we wanted, because we were quite and we are quite evangelical about it. We want to get it out there. We see the benefit in getting it out there. But the thing like the Daily Express was fantastic, and what it's done is not necessarily in Shrewsbury, but it's opened doors up to speak to people in London. It's opened doors to speak to people in Gloucester. So it has opened doors. It just hasn't necessarily opened as many doors in Shrewsbury.
Yeah,
but it will come.
There are many different types of drinking venues and opportunities to go and drink in Shrewsbury as well. You know, Shrewsbury is a festival town.
Yeah,
we have a successful football club there with the Brooklands just down the road. You know, there are many opportunities to try and grab this at a very very densely populated source. Is there any thoughts of speaking to event planners and people that are involved with the football club and what have you?
The festivals are on our radar. We've also tentatively had discussions with perhaps looking overseas with it, because again, it's something that me and Neville believe in an awful lot. Kids go away and maybe
Magaluf,
maybe act a little differently abroad than they would here. So I mean, we've been at it for a while, but we've only been live for 7 weeks.
Yeah, just before Christmas we started the pilot scheme at the Shed.
I'm glad that we're doing this now and not at the beginning, in a way, because now we can ask you, you know, about your progress. Because at the beginning, when I was meant to do this interview, you'd have been like, "We're going to try and do this thing. Let's see how it goes." Now I can say, "How's it going?" And you're saying progress is being made, which is quite good.
Yeah, I think we.
When the pilot scheme threw up a lot, interesting enough, sorry, Vince, we had a meeting with David and the managers of both the sheds, And we've had some really interesting feedback from them, one of which we hadn't even thought about, and I'll be honest here, that the guys, the head of security, said, well, why don't you register negative tests? We're like, that's a no-brainer. Why don't we? So that's what we do now. And then from that, we developed the 9-point plan as well. So the pilot scheme, there's some real positive stuff coming out of that, and that's from the venues. So,
Yeah, that's really good. And Verity, do you feel like this moving forward and this being, I think available in pubs in Shrewsbury will make women feel a lot safer going out?
I think so. I don't see why it wouldn't. Women, men, everybody. I think it's like what you said, it's a seatbelt, it's a bike helmet. You're not saying these things won't happen, but you're saying we've got you, we'll do our best by you. If it does, we've got your back.
Yeah.
It needs to become like second. It's like, that these things are available. Like you said, it needs to be available at every bar, and we need to automatically think, there's straps beyond the bar. I know that. I don't need to think about it. I just know it when I go out, because then you can go and...
Like the 160 venues in Bristol.
Yeah.
One of the phrases that we used with the guys down in Bristol was, it should be the same whether you're drinking in Bristol or Birmingham or Barnsley.
Yeah.
It should be the same anywhere. It should be... there's loads of great work being done around the country about generally making the whole nightlife more enjoyable and more comfortable for people.
I hope it would put people off doing it.
Yeah, a deterrent as well. Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a closing door, isn't it? If if I was going to, hang on, I won't go in there because they're attuned to it. Obviously, the staff know about it. There's no point going in there. I'll try the next one. Oh, look, they've got it as well. And it becomes harder and harder and harder. It won't stop it happening, but if you make it as a byproduct of making people safer, if you make it harder for the idiots who are doing it, then that's also good.
You need to put your efforts into creating traps for these people, like a Chinese finger trap style way, where if they go to like spike someone's drink, they're like that's it, they've done it, and everybody knows about it. Like
I was thinking of a cage,
like a Batman sort of smoke pill. Here he is, a cage would be great.
Big alarm when the cage comes down.
Yeah, and then I'll interview.
Give me a couple of weeks.
Interview him live in the Shrewsbury Biscuit. And why do you think it's acceptable to spike this person's drink, Mister?
That's one thing that I genuinely don't understand what goes through people's heads. I really don't.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of, talking about the psychology of this, when he talks about things a bit more sinister, I guess we know why that happens. But when it comes to having a laugh with your mates and stuff, like, they're not going to get reported, are they? And, it's...
I think there's an awful lot about, let's widen it a little bit, the comments that can be directed at people, predominantly women, but the comments that can be directed, I'm only having a laugh.
Yep.
The inappropriate attention, maybe touching, maybe feeling, maybe looming over people. All of it is just expressions of, I want power, I want a bit of control over someone. You can look into why they want the power and control, but I want power and control. And if I can do that and not feel that I'm going to get caught, if I can do that and feel that I'm immune, then I'll carry on doing it, and I'll carry on doing it next week, next month, next year, until horribly next time I do it, I might take it a step further or a step further or a step further.
Even just you saying that I'm only having a laugh, that's made me cringe. The amount of times I've heard,
cheer up, laugh.
And seen, people be uncomfortable, people get spoken to crudely, or like you said, touched or something, and then, well, hang on, it's your fault for being offended by that because I'm being jovial.
Yeah. But that's an awful lot of that comes down to, we were talking before about young people and how they get a rough ride, but a lot of the very young people know that's wrong. So something happens where as they get older, and we can go down the Andrew Tate role. And
I wasn't going to mention his name, but you did. But yeah, absolutely.
You can go down that role.
People were defending him. His sentence has been his jail sentence, not a prison sentence, has been renewed for another 30 days, and people are like, why not? It's Andrew Tate.
Yeah,
he's an absolute monster.
But he is a monster. But what he does very, very cleverly is he throws in 25%, 75% utter bobbins, utter misogynistic bollocks.
Yeah.
But 25% of it is do sit-ups, eat healthily, get a career, don't sit home on the Xbox. And some part of that permeates with kids. And, well, hang on, are you saying that he's wrong for saying that? No, I'm saying he's wrong for the other 75% of crap that he comes out with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But it's seductive. And if they haven't got anybody telling them that it's wrong, if they haven't got anybody teaching them how to live right, and if they think they can get away, if it allowed to slide once, then next time we'll do it a little bit more. We'll do it a little bit more.
Just testing boundaries.
Yeah, of course we are.
Pushing them.
That's why I worry about. I go to the football. We're going to football the weekend. Go most home games, and I see all these young kids and they're like, "Whoa, I'm invincible!" Whoa, one of the guys, and they're trying to impress upon these group of people. And there's not just like 5 or 6. There's literally dozens of these young kids that are trying to impress the older, more sort of bravado-filled guys. And I feel like it's that sort of scenario, that sort of environment where mistakes can happen because they feel like they're invincible and they feel like they can go out there and do anything, and they will do it to impress the leaders of the pack, if you can say. I don't know if that's
the leaders of the pack who have conveniently taken a step to one side when it kicks off, or a step to they've got plausible deniability.
It's hard, isn't it?
So it's the youngsters who get roped into it, the youngsters who go out and do it to impress, as you said, but then they're the ones who have to deal with the consequences, and the consequences can be life-changing. The consequences for the perpetrator and the victim can be life-changing across all sorts of things. And I keep going on about it starts low level. It starts with, dipping a toe in and seeing what I can get away with. And if they're taught, no. And if authorities, venues, family, friends just turn around and say, no, don't do that.
Yeah, you don't do that.
No, that's wrong. Then most kids won't do it.
Yeah, I'm struggling with that at the moment. I feel like I'm not turning a blind eye. I'm kind of having to stay away from those comment threads on Facebook and things, because somebody on a radio show in America called me a left-wing bigot. I was like, okay, what does that mean? Like,
I will make you a sash with left-wing bigot. Yeah. Depending who said it, that should be a badge of honour.
It's because I like to stick up for people. If someone's been like, run down or what have you. In fact, there was, I'm going to mention that. I won't mention that because I guess
what, Tucker Carlson?
I feel like some people need to be stood up for, and like you're saying, if people see more sort of liberals sort of stepping in and defending people and saying, no, you should not be doing that, like you just said, the more people doing that, the more of a trend it can become. But then I feel like my voice is very small in a huge crowd of people, and I feel like it's things like this, that the strips and the testing that you guys are doing, that it doesn't matter how loud your voice is, or whether you say it's right or wrong, if it becomes a legal procedure, or it becomes something that is part of running a bar, running a pub, then it doesn't matter what you think, mate. It's got to happen. This is the way we do things now, and that's why it's important.
But we talk about a lot, and it's important that it's talked about, even if you are a left-wing bigot.
A left-wing bigot.
But
Alex Whiteley.
It's important to remember that the vast majority of people are bloody good, are decent.
Thank you, yeah.
No, they are.
Yeah.
And they don't act like don't harass people. They don't go out of their way to cause harm. They don't. They're nice. But social media and all sorts of other things enable the small percentage of people to have a disproportionately loud voice.
Yeah.
So rather than say, I only have a small little voice, you don't. You're part of a much, much bigger majority of people, but we forget it because you turn on the news every day, and it's death, famine, war, destruction. You look out your window and there's kids outside playing football and having a laugh and, you know, wandering off and catching up with their mates, and they're not burning cars and wreaking havoc.
It was nice. I was driving down my street and there were two girls just like, they were on there sitting on skateboards going down the hill, and I was like, oh, that's nice to see. That's nice to see. Yeah, you're right. The world is a great place, and thank you so much, both of you, for trying to make it a safer place. You know, because whether it's the other app, what was the name of it again?
Safe Step.
Sorry? Safe Step. So Safe Step is an app where it can keep your GPS, right? It can keep record where you go.
It was designed predominantly for students, but anyone travelling alone. An awful lot of students that we spoke to don't necessarily, you know, you've gone to uni, you don't necessarily want mum and dad knowing where you are at 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. So a lot of tracking apps track you the whole time. And we thought, no, that's not going to work. People just turn it off and, you know, forget about it. So we created an app where you designate a contact for a journey. It was designed through extensive research to be used when drunk. Like home.
Why wasn't I invited for research?
Next time. But you did at home, boyfriend, girlfriend, parents' house, whatever it is. You press one button, little timer, stick it in your pocket. It only starts tracking you if you don't arrive at your venue. It then sends your GPS location just to your contact, and your contact can sit there and try and call you, or if they're worried about it, they can go and see you because they know you're on Smithfield Road or in the quarry or wherever. Only if there's an incident can you let the police know. And the police like it because they don't get phone calls saying, Toby's not made it home. Where is he? In Shrewsbury somewhere. Well, how late is he? 5 minutes late. And the police have to put a lot of resources in to try and find, and they go up and down Shrewsbury. This way you can turn around and say, well, he was meant to be home at this time. He's left the Armoury pub. He's walked into his own house. He hasn't made it home. He's a bit late. I've tried phoning him. I know exactly where he is. Can you go and check on him?
He's somehow travelling 70 miles an hour on the way to Manchester. I don't know where.
Or 400 miles an hour on his way to Magaluf.
Yeah.
We've all done it. But yeah, it's there's a load of things that tech can do. There's a load of great things that it can do. And it's nice that we're able to do a few bits and bobs, but you throw a net out and you'll land on a load of other people doing good stuff as well.
Well, we do have a loudish voice here at the Shrewsbury Biscuit. We'll be even louder when we sort out our Apple stuff. We had a massive drop in downloads, like a colossal loss in downloads, and I wrote to my host and I was kind of like captivated. I was like, what's going on? Why are we struggling to get 500 downloads throughout the month? And apparently it's because our connection to Apple Podcasts isn't quite working. So I've got to fix that. And that makes for a huge percentage of our listener base. So hopefully you're listening to this at a time when we've fixed that. But we might have listeners that own pubs, that run their own businesses. Maybe it's even a cafe or a restaurant or something. They want to get in touch with you guys. How would they do that?
Just go to our website. It's www.firstandbowery. That's the number 1 ST and Bowery, Bowery. Do you want to tell them why it's called First and Bowery?
Okay, go on then, very quickly. We were sitting down and we were thinking, what names of businesses and stuff, and what would you call it? Well, I said, I really liked the name of an indie music distribution company in Edinburgh called 53rd and 3rd back in the late 80s, which a band called the Pastels, I think, was signed to.
I knew this was going to be music.
And I said, well, what about... I like New York as a city, and I never actually got a chance to go to CBGB, which was the big kind of progressive kind of new wave punk club, and because it was closed down. Sorry. And I said, well, how about trying to find out where the nearest junction is to that? So it was East and Bowery, I think, East First and Bowery. So I thought, First and Bowery, why don't we call it First and Bowery? Why not? That's as good a name as any. And that's where the name came from.
That's interesting.
CBGB was a club you'd have loved.
Yeah, I'm sure. There used to be...
Ramones played there, I'm not sure the Pistols play there. Debbie Harry played there. Blondie. You know, all those names you can think of from that era.
I can't remember the name of the band, but the bar, sorry, but in Wrexham there's all clubs that play the typical kind of music, and there was this one club that turned up. I don't think it was there for even a year, and I walked in, they were playing Arctic Monkeys, they were playing the Stones, they were playing also. I was like, this is far better music than whoop, 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 whoop. And you don't hear it very often, so yeah, that's kind of my scene.
I grew up in clubs like that, in a lovely club in New Cross called the Venue.
Do you notice how Vince's voice goes much deeper?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean,
even deeper than it was.
It's old. I'm old.
If you're running a venue, there's more rock songs than Brightside, Mr. Brightside, you can play, and you can actually play that on repeat every night, you know. But yeah, I'm glad that we've been able to catch up again.
No, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Al. Thanks, Verity.
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to meet you, and thank you for developing this system and putting it in place and being so passionate about it. I think it's going to soothe a lot of people's minds.
Yeah,
hopefully so. Yeah.
It's really good. Thank you guys as well for tuning into the show. Like I said, we've been working hard. There's been a few issues with our tech, with the podcast, but hopefully that's all sorted now. Yeah, thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everybody that's been supporting the show lately. It's been a difficult old time, but you guys are keeping us afloat, so thank you so much. Thank you, Verity.
Thanks, Alex.
It's been nice. And we will catch you guys next time. Peace out.